All right. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is a webinar that is being presented by SCORE North Chicago in affiliation with the Arlington Heights Memorial Library. And so let me talk a little bit about SCORE. So Jay, if you'll go to the next slide here. So SCORE is an outgrowth of the Small Business Administration. We have over 10,000 volunteers in 300 different chapters across the country. We provide free confidential mentoring to people who want to start a business, people who have already started a business and want it to grow, and people who are just thinking about starting a business. And so that is our charter. And if you are interested in that, please go to our website, which is northchicago.score.org, and you can request a mentor. We are happy. We have about 65 mentors in our chapter, and we have people with all different sorts of experience, running their own business, senior executives, and a variety of people here that have a lot of expertise. Okay, next slide here, Jay. So before I introduce our sponsor here, Diane, one of the things that I want to say is that throughout the presentation, please put your questions in the Q&A. And then we will be answering them. We will be providing an opportunity to answer some questions in the middle of the presentation, but we will certainly answer them at the end. So whatever questions you have, please put them in the Q&A. You can also put things in the chat, but they're not monitored as well as the Q&A is. So that's the best way to have your questions answered here. So let me introduce Diane Malik, who is with the Arlington Heights Memorial Library as one of our sponsors. So Diane, take it away.
Thank you, John. Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for being here this evening. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Diane Malik, and I'm the Business Services Advisor at the Arlington Heights Memorial Library in Arlington Heights. And I'm just so thrilled to be partnering with SCORE because we really enjoy a very robust relationship with them with all the different things that we do. We have the Business SCORE mentors work with us here through the library, and now these kinds of programs as well over Zoom. So I'm so thrilled about that. So thanks for being here. Here at the library, I coordinate programs for our small business and entrepreneur customers. So this is just the perfect kind of thing that I love to have. And I just want to mention that, we've got such a fantastic library here that if you are anywhere in the area, to check us out, even if we're not your home library, because there's so much for anybody and everybody, including our digital media lab, which we call the studio. And we have a whole separate place now called the Maker Place, which it is a maker space, which provides like this wonderful area for creating and using all the latest technology and creative equipment and things like that. So if that's something that you'd want to know more about, you could certainly contact me. I have kind of a short email, so I'm going to mention it to everybody. It's DMALIK, so DMALIK @ahml.info. So anyone who would like to reach out to me, I'd love to hear from you. And the last thing I want to mention is just that I have a free open to everybody networking event called Small Business Coffee and Connect. It's going to be here at the library, April 5th at 9 a.m. So if you want to just jot that down, you could always check out our website to see about it, but there's no registration or anything. I just would welcome anyone in the area who wants to do some free networking and some coffee and have some coffee and a donut to join me that day. So now I'm gonna pass it over to Jay, who can introduce himself a little bit more. Thanks so much.
Jay, before you introduce yourself, I want to do a short poll here. We want to find out how people heard about this webinar. So you should have that poll active now. So please just answer how it is that you got to the webinar this evening. Part of our marketing effort and part of our desire to find out how people know about SCORE. So let's see, we'll do just a few minutes here. We have a lot of answers coming in. Okay. So I'm going to end the poll now, and we will actually share the results with you just shortly. So it looks like SCORE email wins the award for the most people to draw people in, which is kind of what we expected here. So thanks a lot for participating in the poll here, and I will now turn it over to Jay. So Jay, please take it away.
Thanks, John, and thanks, Diane. And I'm going to start off by saying that I am absolutely a huge proponent of networking at the library. So please get with Diane and make sure you attend that event, because I promise you, as you'll see today, that networking is a priority that will make you some more money. So I am free to introduce myself to all you lucky people. I'll talk about myself in third person. I've been fortunate in my life to own as many as 5 businesses with some successful exits. So my last business that I owned was a 7-figure business that we sold December 1st of 2020. So even though you guys are kind of chilly, most of you in Chicago, I am in Scottsdale, Arizona, where it just reached 80 degrees. So I'm enjoying a beautiful day, and I get to spend it with you guys. So I'm excited about that. I've been a sales manager almost all of my life, in addition to owning companies. So the subject today of teaching you a little bit about sales and how that could benefit your company, I'm hoping I can share a little bit of wisdom with you, and hopefully that'll take your business to another level. So you get this mouse where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to share with you, before I begin this little entrepreneur journey here, that after all these years of being in business, I only just found this one thing out a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to share that with you guys. And that is, there are approximately 33 million businesses in the United States. I don't know if you guys knew that, not that it's that important, but the fact that I thought was pretty interesting about that is that only 2.5% or less of those businesses, so 2.5% of 33 million businesses, actually get to 7 figures in revenue. So I'm very proud that I've accomplished that a few times in my life with various businesses, and I'm happy to share that fact with you. So what does it mean to be an entrepreneur? It means that you're going to be on a major roller coaster ride, and you're going to start out being super excited, and you are going to see the trials and tribulations of what's working, what you screw up, what's fun, what's going to scare you financially, what's going to say, wow, I'm the best thing in the world, to, okay, you can use some help. So we're going to talk about a number of things in sales. And as I said, I'm hoping that's going to help you and your ride to as being a successful entrepreneur. The first thing I want to share with you guys, if you take nothing away from the rest of my presentation, please, let's concentrate on this slide, because this is the most important thing out of everything I'm going to say. I'm going to give you a ton of great tips, I promise, that'll propel you up. But this slide has gotten me and my sales teams about as far as I can expect to ever get in this life. And that's this. And if you buy into it, great. If you don't, oh well, I promise you it's true. So everybody that I know that has anything to sell, product or service, it doesn't matter what the heck it is, everybody, and I mean everybody, every company out there, every person out there, all sells the exact same thing. And that's called trust. Once somebody gets to know you, like you, and trust you, they will want to purchase from you, and you can't rush it. Unless they trust you, they're not going to buy from you. So we're going to get deeper involved with that and how you can create that trust. The second thing that you're seeing is buying and selling. That's my little, my 2 little notes to remind me that this is who I am. And I believe that most people in this country are more similar to me than dissimilar to me. And this is what I have found in my very long lifetime here, that everybody that I've talked to absolutely loves to buy stuff. They just do. It makes them feel good, makes them feel great. It hits that endorphins and you say, wow, I'm buying something. I don't care if it's a little thing or a big thing, house, car, a coffee mug, just buying stuff feels good. But conversely to that, everybody I've ever talked to hates to be sold. Nobody likes to be sold. If you walk into that furniture store, you might want to go buy a couch or a chair or a table, but you don't want the person walking up to you and getting in your grill and trying to ask you 5 million questions. You just want to walk around, and if you see something, you'll buy it. If you don't, you won't. And that's okay. So I have found that most people like to buy stuff. Most people hate to be sold. Whether that's true of you or not, that's what I find that most people are aligned with. Last, and the most important of everything I just shared with you, to be great, and I mean truly great in sales. Listen, listen, listen. There are so many cliches out there, like nobody cares what you know until they know you care, all that stuff. The bottom line is this, everybody. If you have a product or a service, great. But if you really, really listen to the person that's walked into your shop or called you on the phone or met you somewhere, if you really listen to them, they will share with you exactly what they want to buy and exactly how they want to be sold. They will tell you. You just have to listen for the signs. They're telling you. They wouldn't be in your shop. They wouldn't be talking to you about your product or service unless they potentially wanted to purchase that product or service. So if you ask the right questions and you listen intently, they will share with you how you can get that product or service. I promise you, that is probably the most important thing I can say today. If you want to hang up on me right now and I leave you with that, we're all good. So, but I'm going to talk to you about this, why we're all here. The purpose that brings us why we're here is to understand and where we're going to spend our time, the areas we're going to focus on, and the best return on investment. So what that means is I've identified areas that will be beneficial to you, and those are the 5 stages of the entrepreneurial growth chart, which we'll talk about in a minute. We're also going to talk about some sales challenges most people face. We will discuss some sales opportunities, and we could talk about starting and executing a sales plan. And then you guys can judge how entertaining this session is by leaving any remarks, and John will read them later, and we'll talk about those later. So if this is boring you, sorry about that. If it helps you grow your business, I'm super excited to help you out, because that's what I've done most of my life, is help salespeople get better and help businesses grow. So the entrepreneurial stages, there is the hustler, the experimenter, the visionary, the systemizer, and the influencer. As you read these, you may find yourself in one of these buckets. You are either a solopreneur, you've hired a couple people, you've gotten to the visionary stage where you're identifying your destination, or you're bringing in a leadership team while identifying what you need to do to create scalability. And the best, when you get to be an influencer, the bottom line is you get to take a whole lot more vacations. So the bottom line to these 5 different buckets, at least the first 4, is that if you'll see in red, sales. Sales are very, very, very important. It is the reason that most of you are here today, is to learn how to become better at sales, to drive revenue in your company up, and hopefully we'll also learn how to drive bottom line profits. But once you get to the influencer stage, when all you're doing is learning more about your financials from your CPA, you're learning how to direct others so that you can take more vacations, that's when you'll know you've actually made it. So some sales challenges. We want to know what you guys want to do if you have a salesperson or if you don't have a salesperson. What does that mean to you guys? And we'll talk about that. So salesperson or no salesperson, as an owner, do you have time to be a salesperson? If you don't have a salesperson, you better be darn good at sales yourself. If you've got time to become a great salesperson or to train somebody to be a great salesperson, that's fantastic. But word of mouth is amazing. So if you don't have the time, get that word of mouth out there. So your marketing dollars. This is key. available to bring in the leads. Where do you spend those dollars? That's going to bring you the best ROI. We're going to talk about networking in a couple of different ways, because as I shared with you right before I hopped on and talked about myself, when Diane talked about networking at the Arlington Heights Library, I'm a huge proponent of networking, and we're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. Competing with the competition. So this is going to sound kind of hokey, but I've always considered my companies to be competing with itself. I know that sounds weird. I know it's cliche-ish, but I wake up every day and I look to see how I can do my best. That's what I got. I've only got my best. If somebody else that's doing what I'm doing does it better, God bless them. All I can do is be the best me I got. And if I look in the mirror and I say, this is the best me I got, I'm going to generally succeed because I try as hard as I possibly can. I might not be the sharpest guy out there, but I'm definitely going to be the hardest working guy. And for those of you that figure out how to work smarter than harder, God bless you, because I'm a hard worker. We're going to talk about pricing. Pricing is not the be all end all. You don't have to be the lowest person on the block to garner that sale. So I always tell people, your clients are going to remember price once, and that's when they make the purchase. If you buy something for $100 or $150 and you go, wow, I got it for $100. I did great. Well, hope you did the comparison on the features and benefits, because when that $100 item doesn't work anymore, you're not going to remember that you saved $50. You're just going to be mad that you bought that item and it's broken. So it's not all about the price. And it's really generally not all about the features in general, but I'll teach you more about features and benefits some other time. So lacking of brand awareness. I am assuming that most people that are in this webinar that we're doing right now is you are not Coca-Cola, you're not Kleenex, you're not UPS. So you're probably not a household name. So what does brand awareness mean to you, and how can you get there for inexpensive? First of all, get your name out there. If you can put it on your shirt, I'm sorry, you guys are in Chicago. If you put it on your jacket, I'm in Arizona, so I'll put it on my shirt. But in Chicago, put the name of your company on your jacket. And seriously, when it's warmer out, put it on your shirt. Wear it when you're out in public all the time. Get signs up anywhere you're allowed to, in front of your house, on a billboard. Oh, and if you didn't know this, I used to own a sign company. So buy lots of signs. They actually do help, and they will get your brand out there. Get your name on your kids' team's jersey if you can. Give some products or services away if that's possible, and even better, trade them for referrals. Here's something I'd like you to try. I've got a lady that I'm working with right now who's creating her brand of pecans. She created her own pecans. She's got a test market kitchen. We're working on getting the brand out there. She is trading pecans, bags of pecans, for people to like her on Facebook and other social media. So if you can trade something, go for it. Blast yourself on social media if you can, if you belong to social media. If you're on Facebook or whatever they call it now, Metaverse or Instagram, whatever social media you've got, and I'm a big LinkedIn guy, so please use your social media to get your name out there. It's free. Use as much free things as you can. And we're going to talk about that more in depth this a little bit as well. So sales opportunities. We're going to talk about these specific 6 sales opportunities, which is SEO. And you'll find out that that stands for search engine optimization. I know that 99.9% of you people out there know that, but for the 1/10, I thought I would stick that out there. We're going to talk about client acknowledgement, Google, LinkedIn, one more time, Diane, for you, networking, and talking about proposals. So the ins and outs of SEO. Basically, the process of improving your website. And guys, if you're trying to actually have a real business and you don't have a website, talk to somebody about the websites are super inexpensive these days, and it will lead to all types of credibilities in your company. So if you don't have a website, put that on the bucket list as getting that to be first. It's inexpensive and will drive sales immediately. But anyway, when you do have a website, search engine optimization There's a bunch of easy stuff that you can do. And then there's a real pain in the tail stuff that does in fact matter. So the easy stuff, we could talk about that as we talked about the slide previously, is get your name out there on social media. Everywhere. Get people to like you. The Google Analytics, which we're going to talk about in a minute, are all driven by getting search engine optimization as great as you can. So mostly we're going to talk about Google reviews, LinkedIn, other social media, but that's the easy stuff. Here's the pain in the tail stuff. And unless you actually YouTube it, I'm not sure you guys would even understand how to do it. But when I talk about pain in the tail, it's a pain in the tail. So write this down. You guys have to know about something called citations. So what a citation does and why it's a pain in the butt is this. If you actually have a storefront location and you want people to come to your shop, or if you're trying to make a presence for yourself online, there was roughly 5,000 plus, and that was a couple of years ago, so it's probably way more now, thousands and thousands of citations. What those citations are and what they do, and you have to go into each and every single one of them to drive up your SEO, is it tells people what the name of your company is. And if the name of your company is ABC, comma, Inc., and it's all capital ABC, comma, I, capital I, small n, small c, you better make sure that in all 5,000 citations, that ABC, comma, Inc. is all done the same way. And if your address is 123 North Main Street, is it North spelled out? Is it North period? Is it street ST period? Is it ST? Is it street spelled out? And you're in Chicago, comma, IL, is it capital IL? And then your correct zip code, 60601. If all of those things are correct on all 5,000 plus citations, that matters, believe it or not. If your name is all over the place with North or N or street or spelled out or ST, or is IL capital, or is Illinois spelled out, if it's all the same, your Google Analytics will in fact drive up visibility and more people will be driven to your page. So the biggest in and out of SEO is this. If I was in Arlington Heights right now with Diane and I wanted to order us a pizza, I would go to Google and I would type in pizza plus Arlington Heights. And bottom line is there would be a number of pizza places come up, probably dozens, if not scores or more. And if you're me, you're probably just looking at the top three. And if those top three have great reviews, I might give one of them a shot. I don't care if it's Giordano's or Rosati's or anything else. If it's Pizza Hut or 5 million other pizza places, I'm going to look at reviews and I'm absolutely going to say, these are the top three. And I'm calling one of the top three. So if you want your business to be one of the top three, this is one of the things that gets you there. Being popular on social media helps. And then I will get to the final thing that'll drive it to the top where you want to be. So hopefully all that made sense. I know it's kind of a pain to talk about that, but it's one of those things. If you can get an intern to do it for you, that's kind of a nerd when it comes to computers. God bless you. Go for it. One of your kids might want to do it for a couple bucks even. So we're going to talk about client acknowledgement. So client acknowledgement is super, super simple. I'm going to say, even though you have thank you emails here, that is your easy way out. So it is a thank you text, but it's better than thank you emails. And what's even better is a handwritten note. And what's actually not on this screen, because I just started doing it after I created this presentation, which has been working more phenomenally than I can ever imagine. So here's my new thing that's going to sweep your business by storm, and it's free and it's easy. And I like free and I like easy. So here you go, everybody. Here's your free deal for the day that you probably aren't doing. That's going to add a lot of credibility and top line revenue to you. Here it is. If you've never heard of Loom, Loom, look it up. It's a free program. Bring it into your computer. And what you're going to do is the next time you want to go send an email, you are going to record yourself for a 1-minute commercial. And your commercial can say something like, hey, thank you, John and Diane. I really appreciated working with you last month. I'm glad that this all worked out, and I'm hoping you're happy with the product/service. If there's anything I can ever do to assist you in the future, please let me know. I appreciated working with you. Thank you. Have a great day. So that is probably 30 seconds. When they open up their email and they see a personal video, thank you to them, that's going to add a touch that I haven't seen almost anybody do. I can share with you that I probably have 50, 60 emails in my inbox today. I answer them all. I don't let anything sit in my inbox ever, but none of them were video emails. And that's impressive that if you just start doing that, you'll be one of the first ones to do it. So I hope that helps. Here's my favorite one. And I'll share with you a couple of different stories and how much this meant to me and what it is actually going to mean to you. Google reviews. As it says here, it's the fastest, best, and easiest way to get your business to the next level. So what I have done in one of my last businesses is I sent people an email link to my Google review. And I put in the context of the email, it said, "Dear so-and-so, thank you so much for using us as a company. If you feel that we are worthy of a 5-star review, please click on this link. And if you wouldn't mind, if you could write a sentence or two as to why you gave us this review, we would be very appreciative." So I sent that to every single solitary client that we ever had. And I will share with you that back in 2015, when I had about 50 or 60 5-star Google reviews, I had a prospect give us a call and ask me in for an interview to talk to him about my company. The only reason they called me in, as it was said to me, is because we had however many Google reviews we had. I know it was between 50 and 60. And our competitor had fallen flat on the job and they were giving a new company a shot. And again, they were called me in because of the Google reviews, but they were going to call on 3 companies. After I got interviewed for the opportunity, they hired me. And I will share with you from 2015 until I sold the company in 2020, 6 figures in revenue a month, every single solitary month for those 5-6 years that I had them as clients was because I had the Google reviews. So what does that mean? That one client was 7 figures a year for me. And as I shared with you, only 2.5% of businesses or less even get to 7 figures. And I got there in one client. The reason was Google reviews. So right now, that company that I sold has over 285 5-star Google reviews. So I'm happy that the new owner has carried on the tradition and asking for Google reviews, and they're doing quite well. So I'm happy to report that. So I will share with you that Google reviews are absolutely huge. And on top of that, getting additional good Google reviews, beside adding credibility to your company from people that find you online in the Google Analytics, when people go to search for your type of company. So if they type in hairstylist plus Palatine, if they type in printing plus Lincolnwood, wherever you're coming from, I promise you, people nowadays are looking at Google, they're looking at the reviews, and whether people buy into or not, most people are buying into it. So I'm sharing that with you. If you guys have any questions at this time, which is why there's a big question mark here, please put them into the chat, or as John prefers, the Q&A, I believe. And we will try to answer any questions later if that is something that John allows us to do. So I'm going to continue on because I think I'll fall short on time. John, go ahead, John.
Just a second, Jay, we have a couple of questions. People are asking questions about citations.
Yes.
Where are they? How do you check them? This is sort of a general question we've had from several people.
Perfect. Great question. I don't know the answer to it. I had administrative people take care of that. So I'll be just flat out honest. I would go to YouTube, type in how to boost citations. And in this day and age, I promise you that there'll be a number of videos that will walk you through how to get to those citations and handle them accordingly. I wish I had good information for you. I had interns and administrative people take care of it because it actually took weeks and months of somebody sitting there playing with database all day. I certainly didn't have that time, and I never learned how to do it. So that's my honest, transparent answer. Sorry, John.
Yeah, no problem. Just in general, a citation is where your company is mentioned on the web somewhere, either
That's
something
correct.
you do, something someone else does. And your point was, it all has to have exactly the same address, the same phone number, or the same name, and all that, because Google collects them by specific name and information. So if you have different names, different variations on the Illinois or state or whatever, so citations are anywhere that your company is mentioned. You can have them, other people can have them, but you should have, as you said, someone check that and make sure they're all consistent. Yes.
So well said. And how you find those citations, I'm sure it's probably pretty easy to find. And if you Google citations, I'm sure there's a major list somewhere that you can get for free that will show you those 5,000 citations. And it's really just, yes, it's a pain. You're going into 5,000 different companies and database and correcting and making sure that what your information is 100% accurate and the same on every time. So what I did is I had my interns and my admin actually just do a cut and paste. So there was no way for them to do any typos themselves. But if you look at it from probably even a more 2022 scenario, there's probably thousands at this point, cryptocurrencies out there. I couldn't tell you a thing about any single one of them. I know the name Bitcoin, and the people on this call can probably tell me thousands or hundreds of others. I don't know a single other crypto other than Bitcoin because of marketing. So find out what your citations are. I'm sorry, I am not here to be able to help you, tell you where to get them. But in this day and age of Google and YouTube, I'm hoping that will steer you in the right direction and get you to where you need to be. LinkedIn, my absolute favorite social media. As a matter of fact, it is my only social media. I do not have a Facebook or Metaverse or whatever it's called today account. I don't have an Instagram account. I don't have a TikTok account. Don't even know how to use it. I have a LinkedIn account, and LinkedIn has made me a lot of money. And there are so many different ways to use LinkedIn that I don't have time to show you on this call, but just to general, for those that are taking notes right now, if you go into your network and you look into your filters, and when you go to your filters, let's say you're looking for, I'll just make this easy. Let's say you're looking for a connection with real estate agents in your area. So if you go into your filters and you type in the profession real estate, this is the key. If you're looking for the owners of the company, scroll all the way down to where those filters are. And when it asks for the title of the person you're looking for, type in owner in lowercase letters, and then space, and then a capital OR, space, capital or not capital, after capital OR, space, write in co-founder, space, capital OR, space, and then small letters partner. That'll give you the owner, co-founder, or partner of a real estate office in the area, if that's what you're looking for. You can put in, if you're looking for whatever city you're looking for, you can look at Arlington Heights, you can look at Chicago, and then you'll see who your connections are. And depending on who you are, you might find 0. I have over 3,000 LinkedIn connections. So if I typed in residential real estate owners in Illinois or Chicago, I would probably get a dozen or so. But then if I typed in that I wanted to connect with all of my second connections, I would probably end up with a few hundred or a couple thousand. And if I typed in my third connections, I would probably get 20,000. And then I have basically all those people that I can connect with and send them a message and say, hello, just want to introduce myself. And then you can come up with hopefully a message that you think is succinct, to the point, that would make them want to connect with you and potentially reach out. I do something very simple, depending on the business that I'm operating with, is I basically say, I would like to connect with you and learn more about your business and see if that triggers any type of a response. And that generally gets me, if I try to connect when I'm trying to, if I try to connect with 10 people a day, I usually get 2 to 3 people to connect with me, and maybe one person every day or every other day will say, yes, I'd like to tell you more about my company. Let's talk. And now I've triggered a conversation, which of course allows me to ask them about their company, which was my intent, because I love learning about new companies. But if they are a halfway decent human being and they're kind and they've taken the time to reach out, after they talk about their company, they might not ask you in return about your company and what you're all about. And then you might find out if there's any alignment there and if you guys can work out and do business together. LinkedIn has proven over the past at least 7, 8, 9, 10 years for me, been an amazing resource. And I have actually no idea how much money LinkedIn has made me. I will venture to say, if not 6 figures, maybe 7 figures. It's made me a lot of money. If done right, and you're on it diligently and you're looking to sincerely make connections with people that so the key is be a connector. That's always the key. Whether you're networking or on LinkedIn or on social media, don't be all about you. Nobody cares about you. Sorry, guys. If your dog is sick, if somebody in your family is not doing great, if business isn't good, people don't want to hear about it. They want to hear about what's in it for them. So, and that's just reality. I mean, your friends and your family care about you, of course. But if you're trying to make a business connection, they're not going to buy something from you on the pity vote. Not going to happen. So stay positive, stay upbeat, really, really, really learn about somebody else's company, because you might be able to connect them to somebody. And if you connect them to somebody, they may in return connect you to somebody. It's karma, guys. If you work it and treat it and just work every day that you're helping other people, the good stuff comes back to you. It always does. It always has. So I'm hoping that helps you guys out. It's a little bit more about LinkedIn. If anybody wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's my name. Find me on LinkedIn. I can share with you more about how to work LinkedIn. Happy to do so. Networking. See, Diane, I told you I'd get to this eventually. So networking is key, guys. Networking groups, some cost money. Some are free. There is a group out here in Arizona that's called Alliances. It is a very excellent networking group. It is people that I like to talk to and meet with. There's a fantastic company out there called BNI. They're in virtually every single city or suburb in the entire country. It costs money. You can go twice to a chapter for free. If you're in Arlington Heights, and I'm guessing, total guess, there's probably 3 to 5 chapters of BNI, stands for Business Networking International, maybe. The sole reason for this group, if you have not heard of BNI, is to show up once a week, meet with anywhere from, depending on what size the group is, 20 to 50 people. You meet once a week. The sole reason to go to these meetings is to connect with these 20 to 50 like-minded individuals who are your salespeople. And what I mean by that is, if you own a painting company and you walked into this BNI chapter and they don't have another painting person in that chapter, you can join that chapter. Everybody, all 20 to 50 people in that chapter will spread the word that you're their painting guy or girl. And that just pays it forward. You're going to get a couple people in the group that want you to paint their house. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell their friends. If you're a painter, if you're a sign person, if you're a printer, it doesn't matter your business. If you're a real estate agent, if you go to a BNI meeting and you get involved with BNI, depending on what you do, if you can get into a chapter, because they only allow one of each business in each chapter, I promise you that in most cases, your business, the return on investment will skyrocket you. In year one, you'll do X amount. In year two, you'll double, triple that. In year three, it'll be amazing. And all it is, the reason I love BNI, and it's actually, it wasn't for the reason that you think. I didn't go there looking for business. That just happens. I went there because I'm that guy that if my sister or my mother or my best friend says, hey, you got a painter, Jay? Who do you recommend? I got a guy. I'm the guy that's always got a guy. And I just like being that guy. That's just me. So I get to hang out with a bunch of entrepreneurs, find out if they do a really good job based on what I've heard in the group. So I've got all these people that are worthy of the best because they've been tried and true by other members in the chapter. I can use them, or I've used them personally, and now I can recommend them. In good conscience, I can get you a painter. I can give you I know the best painter in Lake County that there is. Great pricing, great level of service, and he's just a great guy. And if you need a painter, I got a guy. That's what BNI is all about, but it's also what their slogan is, givers gain. So it's all about the karma. The more you can connect people and give them a referral, which is easy to do in most cases, it comes back to you megafold. So you get to learn about some great companies who share in the same journey you're going through. And in return, there'll be business transacted back and forth. Getting involved with your local chamber, I will share with you based on personal experience that some chambers are awesome. Some are just okay. So what you want to do is, before you spend your money on joining the chamber, is talk to them. What are they going to do for you? What's the benefit? Talk to some members that you can go online, see that they're members, and ask them, what did the chamber do for you? What was your benefit of being a part of a chamber? Chambers are cheap. They only cost a few $100. Some chambers, the ROI on that is easy. Some chambers, it's a waste of your money and there's no benefit to it, other than you get to put a sticker on your window saying you're a member of the local chamber, which years ago meant a ton. Today means a little bit less. Some freebies. I love free things. So going to free chamber events and welcoming the new kid on the block, if they're doing a ribbon cutting, you can do that. And you can see if maybe the chamber is looking to get bigger or they are fantastic. You will learn more about your chamber. If you go to some free events, they generally have free networking events, after hours parties or before hours networking or breakfast. I encourage you to do as much free networking that allows space on your calendar that is a good return on investment. So that doesn't mean go to every coffee clutch just to kill an hour or two of time and pretend that you're working. If you go to a meeting and you see that real business is being transacted, fantastic. Go back, enjoy. Eventually business may be working for you. If you're going there and nobody's passing referrals, they're one and dones, they show up, they don't show up, nobody's giving referrals, they're just there drinking coffee or getting a free beer. Great, you blew off some time, don't do it again. Here's the most important thing, and it's the most overlooked and the most important, is getting out that proposal. We've talked about sending out fantastic emails. We've talked about raising your Google Analytics. We've talked about going to networking events and making connections. All of these things lead to the metrics of providing you with a lead that you're hoping after some conversation may turn into a prospect. And if you get out the proposal and that proposal looks like it's something that they want to work with you on, you may, if you're lucky, turn them into a client. So here's the key. Most of your competition, based on previous experience, excuse me, they sit on their proposals. They just don't have the time or the space or the capacity, or they procrastinate, whatever it is. They spent all this time getting somebody that actually wants to see a quote from them, and they don't rush that quote out. Why? Get the vendors, get the service, get the product, whatever it is that you have to do to put that estimate on paper, email it out, hand deliver it, mail it, whatever the heck you got to do. 99% of the time, I'm sure it's emailed out these days, is get that proposal out. You don't know what your client is thinking or going through, or what the paradigm shift might be in their lives. But if they're waiting to order those 10 widgets from you, and you're the first proposal in, you're telling them that you care, they matter, and time is of the essence. And if they might have said, wow, I got the proposal, I don't even have time to wait for the other 2 estimates I was waiting for. These guys were Johnny on the spot. They came through. It's a decent price. What the heck's the difference if I save a nickel? I need these people to come through. I'm going to call you and say, got your proposal. Thank you for the timeliness. Can you perform your product or service just as timely? Because that's what I need. If you sit on the proposal, other people might beat you to the punch and you might lose that opportunity. So please, if somebody's going to be willing to trust you and ask you for the estimate, do your due diligence, get them that information, lickety split, and hopefully you win that proposal or that bid. Your implementation plan. This is so weird just doing all the talking and not seeing anybody. So I'm hoping you guys are okay with all this. Hope it's going okay for everybody. Can't tell, can't see. All I see is my computer and my face. So interesting. Setting some goals. So I look at everything as a SMART goal. So we look at this and you see a pizza and you start your diet. January 1st, as we know, is come and gone. So that means that 99% of the people that started their diets on January 1st are already done. That deal's done. So we only set SMART goals. SMART goals, most of you have probably heard of, but it's my thing. I kind of remind people what SMART goals are. They have to be specific goals. They have to be measurable goals. They have to be achievable. They have to be realistic, and they have to be time related. So what this breaks down for those people that don't 100% understand what this breaks down to is if you're running your business and you tell me that you want to earn $1 million this year, you want to put $1 million in your pocket, I will say, great. God bless you. That's fantastic. Good goal to have. Now, let's break it down and see if it's actually realistic. It's a specific goal, kind of. You want to earn $1 million in the next 365 days. Great. Let's measure that out. Meaning, let's divide that by how many months there are, how many working days there are. And if you're selling on average $500 item, that means you have to sell what? $200,000? You have to sell, do the math, 20,000 of those. You have to sell 20,000 of those. You got to sell one, what is that? 20, let's make it real easy math. So let's say you've got to sell, to get $1 million, you've got to sell $80,000 a month. That's great. So you sell your $83,000 a month, and let's break that down to the weeks. You got to sell $80,000 a month. You got to sell $20,000 a week. We're getting specific. We're getting measurable. Now, last year, your $500 item, you sold one a day. That's $500 a day. Are we going to sell $20,000 in a week? It's probably not achievable or realistic. So please take your product or service and work it backwards. What is realistic? And you can work the metrics backward and forward. If you've got a $500 item, is your average invoice, and in 2021, you sold on average 2 invoices a day. That's great. You got your $1,000 a day, $5,000 a week, $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month, 12 months means you're going to sell $240,000. So in order to say that you're going to go from $240,000 a year to $1 million a year, how realistic is that? Only you know. If you're going to hire 10 salespeople and you're going to quadruple your income, rock on, go for it. Or quadruple your revenue. Just make sure that any goal that you attain, it's not just simply thrown out there. And even if I said I wanted to lose 30 pounds in the next 6 months, Great. I'm not going to wake up 6 months from now 30 pounds lighter. I've got to say, great. I am going to lose 5 pounds a month for the next 6 months. There's 4 weeks in a month. Can I lose 1.25 pounds a week? What does that look like? Is that diet? Is it exercise? I've been called the cookie monster most of my life. So does that just mean get rid of cookies? Maybe. I don't know. Exercise a little more. But that's realistic. 30 pounds in 6 months. It didn't take me 3 days to put on 30 pounds. It's not going to take me 3 days to take off 30 pounds. What is realistic and what can I do? Next, I was told by a mentor many, many years ago, know your numbers. And what does that mean? It means a little bit of what we talked about in the last slide is your metrics. Know what your average transaction is. Know what your revenue is going to be. Where do you expect to get new business? How many transactions do you expect to get? What are the process to get those clients? Where do they come from? How many prospects? How many leads did it take to get how many prospects, to get how many clients, to get to how many sales? So those are all metric related. I call them KPIs. If you don't know what your key performance indicators are, then it's hard to create your metrics, and it's hard to create a roadmap to success if you don't know what everything costs. And I am running really low on time here, so I'm going to keep going pretty quick here. Do versus do. Real quickly on this, get it done before it's actually due. My quick takeaway on this is pretty much, here's my quick takeaway on this. I no longer have a to-do list. My big revelation that I've uncovered a couple weeks ago, my big revelation, I no longer have a to-do list. I used to write out this great pad of 20 things I had to do that day, blast through them. There'd be 3 or 4 or 5 things left. Damn, I put those on the next day's to-do list. Same thing every single day. It's like, there's always stuff on my to-do list. No more to-do list, done. I don't even have a to-do list. I have no pad of paper with stuff on it. I've got something to do. I know what I got to do. It goes immediately onto my calendar. It's on my calendar. When it pops up on my calendar, I do it. Just get it done. I'm not going to tell you, full transparency, that when it pops up, sometimes I don't have to move it to another time or another day. But in reality, more things get done when it pops up because I made space for it on my calendar to get it done. No reason to procrastinate on that because it showed up on my calendar. I made time for it. Just do it. Key takeaways. We've gone over a number of little things here that you can now see on your screen, from SEO to acknowledgement to LinkedIn to networking. And it doesn't add up to a whole hill of beans. It's a 10% increase in conversion in general is what I've uncovered. So what does that mean to you? If you're doing $10,000 a year in business, do you really care that you're going to add another $1,000? No, it's not much. But when you're in the $500,000 mark or $1 million plus, and you're bringing in an extra 50 to 100 G just by having some administrative people do a couple of little tweaks on what you do, and it adds another 6 figures to top line revenue, it might be worth doing those little things. I'm just saying. So everything centers around sales. As we talked about, it's why you're all here. And I must admit, sales is my strong suit. I have taught, I don't know how many hundreds of salespeople to get bigger and better. It's my superpower. I loved taking people that were making $50,000 and $60,000 a year and teaching them how to make $150,000 to $200,000 plus a year, and watching what that did to their lives and their families, paying for college, buying bigger houses, less stress in their household. I loved all that. I enjoyed it more than I can ever say. And now I do that with businesses. But around sales metric planning, what does that mean? Know your numbers. Everything circles around your numbers, everything. Whether it's leadership, recruiting, why we're here today, sales and marketing, all centers around financial engine, and productivity makes it all work. So since I'm running out of time, just know that knowing your numbers and giving yourself realistic conversions and knowing your metrics, meaning that how many dollars, how much time, how much effort does it take to generate a lead? How many LinkedIn people do I need to say hi to? How many networking events do I need to go to? And what does that mean in dollars and cents? If I go to a 1 hour meeting, it took me 15 minutes to get there and 15 minutes to get back to my office. It's an hour and a half out of my office. If I'm billing myself out at $100 an hour, easy math, that networking meeting better have made me at least $150 to cover my cost. If it didn't do that, it was a waste of my time. What does it take to turn your metrics from lead to prospect to client? Only you know that. What is your average invoice? Only you know that. Ultimately, when you put the numbers together, everything allows you to create a roadmap to go from where you are today, whether that's a startup of nothing, or you're a very successful company looking to grow, anything in between. Know your numbers, know how to handle them, get around them, embrace them, and it will take you where you want to go. I have 4 minutes to spare. Hope that worked out, John. Okay.
Yeah, Jay, thanks a lot. This has been, there's been a lot of very active chats and questions here, some of which we have answered. One of them that's been there for a little bit is you keep mentioning the administrative people.
Yes.
I know from past experience that if you're good at something, do that. If you're not good at something, have somebody else do that. And so one of the questions here is, were you bringing in virtual assistants to help do your business, or did you hire local people, or how did you find the assistants here?
So to be quite candid, I've just come into the world recently of virtual assistants. And I must say, in my very short sample size of how many months I've used them, I'm not a fan currently. Not to say that there's not good ones out there. So if you find one, great. But I found the time difference for the ones that are out of this country and the language barrier, they don't 100% get it. They're very, very intelligent. I'm working with a couple right now that are very smart. They're in Pakistan. They're actually doctors and they get it. They're really intelligent. I'm working with them. They're doing some good stuff. It's a little bit different. And I've had some not so good experiences. So when I'm looking for a great admin, if they're worth their weight and I can afford to pay them, I pay them. But another benefit has been for free. I have reached out to college interns that are exploring my field, as well as I am mentoring in Arizona a college company on sustainability. And one of the things they do is they provide free interns for 25 hours a week for free in return for a small donation. So they work 25 hours a week for 3 months and they look for $1,000 in return. That's insane. So find your interns any way you can. If you want to try a virtual one, go for it. If you want to try an intern or somebody that you can bring on part-time that can use a few extra bucks, go for that.
And I will also say, Jay, that sometimes if you're the solopreneur, you are that administrative assistant. And so,
Been there, done that too many times.
Yeah, you really do have to manage your time here. So let's see if you can go to the next slide here, Jay. I think we have some additional webinars that are on understanding small business financial reporting and supercharge your website with search engine optimization, which we talked about a little bit.
There you go.
And then the last slide should be a QR code here that if you hold your smartphone up to the screen and have it look at this QR code, it will send you to our website where you can find out about our YouTube channel. You can find out about various mentors. As I said, we have over 60 mentors in our chapter, people who are familiar with a lot of different things. And one of them is Jay Cash. So if you want to talk to Jay as a mentor, please feel free to go to our website and request that. And I'm going to
interrupt. I'm going to interrupt you here, John, because
Yeah.
Another mentor in the chapter is John Fisher, and John Fisher has mentored me. So if you want to reach out to John, please feel free as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are fortunate in that we have a lot of really good mentors in our chapter. So reaching out to any of them will be a helpful experience, hopefully. So thank you, Jay. Thank you, Diane, for sponsoring this session here. And thanks to everyone for attending. And as we've said here, this will be available on our YouTube channel probably within about 5 business days. And in the meantime, please visit our website. And thank you again for joining our session. And Jay, very good information.
Thanks, John.